Hello NFL fans, welcome to another episode of NFL Picks with Dave, and Merry Christmas! I'm your host Dave, and today we'll see my picks for NFL Week 16. Before we begin today, I have a few announcements. First off, I'm taking next week off due to Christmas, which means this is the last episode of NFL Picks for the regular season. However, the playoff edition of NFL Picks kicks off on January 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay, moving on. My first three NFL picks takes place on NFL on Saturday. My first pick is the Texans over the Buccaneers. The Texans last week defeated the Titans 24-21, while the Bucs whooped the Lions 38-17. I'm picking the Texans 31-14 because they're a more talented team than Tampa Bay. My next pick is very difficult. It's the Bills taking on the Patriots. The Bills won in a statement win over the Steelers last week with a score of 17-10, clinching their second playoff berth this century, while the Patriots, who also clinched a playoff berth, torched the Bengals 34-13 after being caught for doing Spygate once again. These two teams are hungry for winning the AFC East. I'm picking the Patriots 17-14 because they're very dangerous around this time of the year, and they're really good at home. My last Saturday pick is also challenging. It's the Rams taking on the 49ers. The Rams got embarrassed last week, losing to the Cowboys with a score of 44-21, making their playoff probability drop to nearly 0%. The 49ers, meanwhile, laid an egg, losing to the Falcons 29-22. However, they clinched their first playoff berth in 6 years thanks to the Rams losing to Dallas. I think that both teams will fight really hard, but the 49ers will sneak this one out. My final score, San Francisco 24, Los Angeles 21. My first Sunday pick is an easy one. It's the Steelers taking on the Jets. The Steelers lost to the Bills last week, but they are still alive in the AFC playoff picture. They are currently holding the 6th seed. The Jets, meanwhile, lost big time to the Ravens with a score of 42-21. Because of this, I'm picking the Steelers 31-14. My next pick is difficult. It's the Panthers taking on the Colts. The Panthers lost to the Seahawks last week with a score of 30-24, while the Colts got ran over by the Saints, losing to them 34-7. Since the Panthers have had a cleaner game last week, I'm picking them 24-17 over the Colts. My next pick is the Dolphins over the Bengals. The Dolphins lost to the Giants last week with a score of 36-20, while the Bengals lost big time to the Patriots. I'm picking the Dolphins 17-10 because they had a better game and they're playing at home. My next pick is the Giants over the Redskins. The Giants defeated the Dolphins and ended their 9-game losing streak, while the Redskins lost to the Eagles 37-27. I'm picking the Giants 31-14 because they're a more talented team than Washington. My next picks are the Saints over the Titans 31-10, the Falcons over the Jaguars 27-13, and the Ravens over the Browns 35-31. Now let's move on to the later games. My first late game pick is the Broncos over the Lions. The Lions lost to the Bucs last week, while Denver got crushed by the Chiefs with a score of 23-3. I'm picking the Broncos 27-14 because they're at home and they're more talented than the Lions. My next pick is the Raiders over the Chargers. The Raiders lost to the Jaguars last week with a score of 20-16, while the Chargers had their stadium taken over by the Viking fans and got beaten up by the Vikings with a score of 39-10. I'm picking the Raiders 42-21 because they played better last week, and I won't be surprised if Raider fans take over the Chargers' home field. My next pick is the playoff-bound Seahawks over the Cardinals. The Seahawks defeated the Panthers last week, while the Cardinals defeated the Browns 38-24. I'm picking the Seahawks 31-28 because they're at home and are hungry for the NFC's number 1 seed. My next pick takes place in Philly, where the Cowboys take on the Eagles in an important matchup in the NFC East. If the Cowboys win, then they're champs. But if the Eagles win, then the Eagles need to win out their last game to become champs. The Cowboys destroyed the Rams last week, while the Eagles took care of business in Washington. Since Dallas played a great game last week, I'm picking them 42-31 over the Eagles. Now let's move on to the last two primetime games. My first primetime game pick takes place on Soldier Field, where the Chiefs visit the Bears. The Chiefs destroyed the Broncos last week, while the Bears lost to the Packers last week in the Tundra, with a score of 21-13, and got eliminated from the playoffs. This pick is very easy. I'm picking the Chiefs 42-20 over the Bears. And now, my last pick of the week. It's the Packers visiting the Vikings. The Packers defeated the Bears last week, while the Vikings had a field day in Los Angeles. Since the Vikings are very good at home this year, I'm picking them 16-13 over Green Bay. That does it for my picks for Week 16. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to get the latest videos and posts I do. And also, follow me on Twitter. My account name is @DavidNader2. Thanks again for watching and have a great Christmas.